Live from 864 Sound in Greenville, South Carolina, it's the Wash Bros Podcast with your hosts, Matt Jackson and Clay Smith.
It's all fun though. I mean, it's like I was where you were, and then you're like, man, I got all the cash. Like my business is very profitable, like, but I'm controlling everything. To now, I'm like, ugh. Yeah. I'm like investing in skids. I'm investing in vehicles. I'm want to get another vehicle wraps. I got employee overhead. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not running.
Growth is expensive.
I'm not that profitable.
That's all I gotta say. Yeah.
I was like, I'm breaking even, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're looking at that next.
But it's like exciting for me because I'm looking at that next jump.
Yeah.
And it's like I chase, like I talked to you. I don't really chase money. I chase opportunity.
Yeah, that's good.
So it's like
Well, I think that as far as me, I could probably grow, but I'm just scared, man. I'm the control guy, you know.
It took me like a year and a half to
we did
do it.
we did 12 townhomes. Well, I did,
Nice.
but I brought a helper with me, and I'm like, okay, this guy's slowing me down. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's like I need to, and that's where it gets caught up. My trailer and my stuff's not set up for two people either though.
Okay.
So you know, it's just like, damn, I could hire somebody to come help me and it would make life a little easier. But to be honest with you, like I said, we did those 12 townhomes. I took a helper thinking I was gonna need him, and shoot, man, I felt every bit of it the next day.
Yeah. Yeah. Hustling.
Yeah.
What? So I have a saying for that, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you build it like McDonald's, you run it like Chick-fil-A. So your skids and your equipment, right, is
Correct.
like it's got to be a two-man thing. Well, however your model is, it could
Right,
be a
yeah,
one-man.
yeah.
You know, whatever whatever you want to build, right? It's your model. So if you want one-man crews, two-man crews, whatever it is for your model, build that and then replicate that model.
Yep.
Yeah, just keep replicating and growing. Yeah.
It's kind of like I've simplified my stuff out to be like, if one guy's running a different truck, he knows how to do all the same stuff.
Yep.
As opposed to like the big like owner operator, like 16 gallon a minute per truck. I'm like, that's
So-
overrated.
Overkill.
So my
Overkill.
thing is, it's like, okay, so I got some stuff in the works.
Mhm.
I'm going to, I believe, create another service
Mhm.
and make sure it's a consistent service and let that pay for an employee.
There you go.
That's kind of my business model, to try to get over that hump, and then it's going to fill the gaps of the ups and downs of the seasons.
Sure.
But you know, it's going to be something that would fall into place with washing and that kind of stuff. So we'll see. We'll see where it takes us.
Heck yeah. Well, I know when I got into, you guys are at what, 2 trucks?
I'm at 2 trucks, yeah.
So when we got into like 3, it was really 4 trucks, but 3 to 4 trucks, we had to color code all our trucks. Because when they would all come to the facility, right, fill up SH or whatever it was, they were grabbing the wand broke or like the extension brush broke, and they're grabbing it. And then this guy goes to their job, he doesn't have it, and you can have this chaos, right, ensue. And so what we did was we started color coding it. All our things, we would spray paint all the equipment. Everything was like the blue truck, the red truck. The numbers on the trucks were red, blue, green, whatever it was.
Yep.
And so that's how we kind of got over that hump. There's a lot of things like in the growth of people showing up, right? Like if you're hourly and they're on the clock and they're filling up SH in the morning, you got hours, right? Like time on the clock.
Yeah.
So we do a whole different model. We went through 3 different stages where it was hourly, right? We all kind of do the hourly thing. And my guys could only do, and it might have been $3,800 a week max, 50 hours. And I'm like, dude, I could do that by myself. Like, what's going on, right?
Yeah.
So then we went from hourly to an hourly plus a production bonus. It was kind of like a hybrid, right? So they can get $15 an hour plus 3% production bonus.
Yep.
And so we started seeing the guys doing $5,000, like $6,000, right? So that started working out a little bit better, but we really saw it was like a light switch when we went to P for P, pay for performance.
Yep.
Kind of like what you were saying, right?
Yep.
And so we give our lead tech 10% and our assistant tech 8%, 9% if they're seasoned. And so we're at 19% overhead on that truck.
Nice.
You know, obviously you got workers' comp and all that other stuff on top of that. So we try to stay under 20% on the P&L.
Right.
And so when we started doing that, they were crushing it, $10,000, $12,000 weeks. And they were really getting it done. And so that's when I was like, ooh, we're on to something, right?
Right.
And so we had to do fun games, of course, but in that we had touch-ups.
That's where that's
Everybody's scared of it, right? Like, are you guys having that now or no?
I mean, I had a few weeks of fun.
But it's okay, right? You change the system up, you learn, right? And you're like, okay, Dad, he missed this whole freaking. How do you miss the whole side of the house?
It's like, do you need glasses?
Right? Yeah. It's like we're gonna now job application.
Yeah.
You know,
and then it's like, well, you give me too much work. I was like, but you're making good money.
Exactly.
It's like, what do you want?
I know. They want the work. They want the money without the work,
Yeah.
right? And so that's another thing we're dealing with in this day and age, right? Is like it's a little bit different.
Yep.
So we got to be creative about it, and that's what we had to do. We just had to pivot, right?
Yep.
How do we get people in first, and then once they're in, how do we keep them motivated? And the purpose.
Keyword: the maintenance of the motivation.
Yes.
It's like month 3. How are you doing?
Yeah.
As opposed to like the first month when everybody's all eager.
Oh yeah, it's like your first dating. You know what I mean? Like we're real eager when we're first dating, right? And then you're dating for 6 months, and then it's like, okay, it's kind of fading off a little bit. Now you're married for 3 years, and you're like, hey, you want to, no, I'm good. You know what I mean? But you got to get creative with it.
Yep.
A creative pay plan, huh? I was talking to a guy the other day, and I'm fumbling around the idea of creating a second truck, right? And I was talking to him, and my biggest thing is I don't mind paying for a good employee. I want somebody I can trust with the first step. Try to make it as easy as I can because I've seen what Matt's been going through and stuff and the struggles, and I want to make it easy on myself. If I got to pay a guy $300 or $400 more and an average company's paying people, then okay, I'll do that. But I think in today's age, everybody's wanting like $300 and $400 a day, and I'm like, damn.
That's a lot.
I wish I had it. I wish I had it that good when I first started.
That's what I'm saying.
When I first started my company, I mean, it was just 2 years ago. When I first started C3, my goal was just to make $250 a day as a company.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my God, you want to make almost double what I wanted to make in a day, and it's just crazy what people they want the money, but they don't want to do the work.
I guess you're saying they want like $1,500 a week.
Yeah, and these guys are coming from like $15, $16 an hour jobs, and you're like, oh, okay, that's a hell of a pay raise,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't mind. Like I've paid my guys out $1,500 on certain weeks, but we were killing it.
Yeah.
But they were making. I pretty much have one guy who's a lead tech who's just knocking it out like an owner operator. Yeah. So I'm like, I'll pay you $300 a day if you're gonna make me like $1,500 or $2,000 a day.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like that's fine for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as long as the numbers work. And I think like sometimes we got to be careful too, because you got to look at your numbers, right? And it's like, what can you pay right now?
Correct.
Because if you pay too much now, you're going to be backwards, right?
Careful,
in payroll. Payroll, like, I guess you'd say payroll and damages are the biggest expense in our industry, right? Because you got overtime, you got all that stuff, and it can really eat it. So like you got to kind of go through those stages, and it's going to be a little rough. You can only afford this person, right? Like you can buck up a little bit, but it's definitely hard. I remember, when I was paying guys $10 an hour back then.
Yep.
And now it's totally different. They want $25 an hour, right?
Yep.
And it's like, holy cow.
Exactly.
So,
and you don't even know if they're going to do the job right, or if they're going to go, if they're going to go out and burn up plants, or
that's right,
bust out windows, or blow siding off a house.
Yeah. Like I'll use House Call Pro, so it kind of tracks like when they're there, when they're gone, and all that. I'm like, I was looking at certain like time, something like it would take me about 2 hours to do this job. No way it's taking somebody 45 minutes.
At a decent pace, yeah.
And then like you get those calls a week or two later where it's just like, oh, my plants are dead.
Yeah. You hate it. It's like that sinking
I was
feeling.
like, I knew something was going to happen.
Yep.
It's like, come on.
So you definitely got to check it and pop inspect. We used to do this funny thing where we would always we would have binoculars in the bushes where we would go and check on jobs. Like me, my wife, my ops manager, and they would be like, they're always watching. I was talking to you guys earlier about like when competitors would show me pictures of the trucks.
Yep.
So we actually had one of my lead techs. He was on another project out of town, and like his girlfriend's friend's sister sent him a picture through the condo window at our flatbed with Sam Shepard working, right?
Yep.
And so sent it to him. Everything was good, thank goodness, but sent it to him. Then he sent it to me. Hey, look, Sam's over here doing the part. I'm like, oh, cool. So I sent it in. We have a big communication chat in our company. So I sent it, and I said, Sam, I'm always watching.
That's awesome.
Right? So
I think Matt's gotten a couple of those, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
you get them all the time. Yeah.
It's good. You got to post them, though. You got to send them to that person
Exactly.
saying, always
I'm
watching.
always watching, yeah.
Yep.
Because then they're less likely to slip up because they're like, is Matt in the bush over there? Where is he at, right?
It's like, make sure you water this bush because I'm sitting in it.
Exactly.
It's like, I'm going to sit in all the flowers, so you have to water them first.
Yeah.
Dude, I started getting like OCD on everybody. I would go lick and taste the plants after
my
they
I'd
were
be
done.
like, yep,
you taste
the
salt,
leaves.
dude, get back here,
It's
rinse
like,
them. You know
Bro,
what I mean?
that sounds like me.
Hose them down.
Yeah. Yep.
So tell me, how'd you go about wanting to start Gutter Butter?
Yeah, so that was actually fun. So we've always wanted to do something for our kids, right? So I
Yeah.
have 4 kids, and we were like, how can we do something? We have a barn on the property. We're like, we want to ship something out, something. And we just got thinking about it. My wife had some ideas, and I started training at that point, right? So we were growing the company, and I started doing like little service booths, if you will, and people would come into town. We'd show them how to clean stuff, and just giving back to the industry.
Yeah.
And so I was using the gutter cleaner, and they're like, what is he using, right? Like, this stuff is good.
Mhm.
And so I actually went to Textiles right here, and they blended it for me.
Yep.
And so we were like, I want to go to market with something for the kids, right? And so we started just basically looking into it, researching it. We had to, pay some money to get the whole 1-800, all that stuff, because I've never done a chemical company. But I'm like, sure, we could do this,
Yeah,
right?
Right.
And so we started out of the bay in the shop, and the kids
Shoot,
would
yeah.
come in, and they would, my younger ones would put on the labels on the 1-gallon jugs. My older ones were banging on the tops and all
Yeah.
this stuff. And yeah, we went to market with it as gutter. I've always called it Gutter Butter because people used to call me Butterfingers. I couldn't catch the football or whatever it was, right?
But you can pressure wash a house.
That's right. Yeah, I was like, hey, you can call me whatever as long as you call me, right? That's
Yeah,
what I
right,
tell a lot
right,
of people. But yeah, so I started Gutter Butter, and people started just buying it in the industry, and then I started like promoting it on Facebook, doing pictures with the kids doing it. And I
Yeah.
think that's what really took off. Like, I actually don't have any ownership in it at all, so it goes to all 4 of my kids. And it's been really good. It's been a huge blessing for them because they see us like doing on the flip side, they see us working really hard.
Yep.
I want to teach them business. Because my dad was never in the picture, right? I had grown up in the largest trailer park in New York. My mom was mentally ill. She, heard voices. She was mental schizophrenia. So I was always like the dad, because like she would open the Christmas presents before I would. You know what I mean? She was excited about it.
Yep.
And I loved my mom. 'Cause she was my biggest fan, and she taught me something. She said, if you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want. And I barely went to school. Like, I can barely read to this day. Like, I've been practicing and doing it self-taught, if you will.
Yeah.
But I literally burned my hooked on phonics, man. I melted that thing to the ground.
Nice.
$300. It felt so bad. My poor mom. But you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But she taught me that. Like, and I believe this for anybody, right? Like, the mind is so powerful, and literally if you think of it and you really like put 110% in, you do anything you want.
It's true.
And so that's when I do a lot of the speaking and stuff. It's like, yeah, look, it's not about me. You can do the same thing I did. I'm not special in no way.
Right.
It's just I freaking worked my butt off, and I figured things out. And I didn't care if I got knocked down 4 times that day. I got back up, right?
Yeah.
And that's what at the end of the day, it's just getting back up.
Yeah.
And it's worth it. Like, I tell people all the time, like, I mean, I've been doing this for 17 years now, and we're doing really, really well. God's really provided for us, and it's given back to the community. I mean, the exterior cleaning industry, like you guys, you work together. Like,
Yep.
we're in the
Right.
same city,
Yeah, we're all competitors.
and it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And we're
that's
sitting
what it's
here
all
together.
about.
They
Share
probably
knowledge.
a customer's
Yeah.
probably calling all 3 of us right now.
I know,
Getting quotes from all of us.
That's
It's
right.
like, I'll be cheaper.
Yeah, that's great. So that's cool that I know that story now, because I was wondering. I came to your shop. Rob was there at the time, and he gave me the tour of your shop and stuff. And I was buying the Gutter Butter because I never tried it. Wanted to see what it was about. I was doing gutters at the time. I don't really fool with it much anymore, but I seen the label and it said Noah on it. So
Yeah.
So I remember it was Noah. So
Yep.
and I was wondering, I was like, what in the world? He must have his kids doing some stuff. And that's awesome, because I named my company after my kids, myself and my kids, and hopefully I can do something like that for them one day.
Love that.
So that's awesome.
Yep. That's what it's all about. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, we do what we do. We do it for our families. Like, we work freaking hard for our families, right?
Right.
And it's that legacy that you're going to leave behind, and they see you hustling and working, and you might pass it off to them. They might be
Hopefully.
running it, right?
Hopefully,
Right.
yeah. That's the plan. That would be the perfect picture. But sometimes that don't always happen. But
That's true.
We'll have like 10,000 Google reviews by that point.
I hope so. Me and Matt's raced to.
Are you guys
1,000
racing?
right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
I got some catching up.
I got
to
a
do.
guy in India that can help you.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's just like the everybody always says big money and it must be nice, but they don't see all the stuff that you do behind the scenes. They just see the success and they see the nice things that you're doing and I did a lot of stress, and even in the car business to get to where I was at. I learned a lot of stuff, and I started my business. I started in October, which we've talked about. I mean,
Right in
that's
the
one of
winter,
the right in
basically.
the slowest. Going in the slowest time, but I told myself, I said, okay, this is actually perfect. I took a positive into it. And I said, if I market and I brand myself and put myself in the position, come springtime, this sucker will take the crap off. And it sure did. We struggled all the way through
Awesome.
Thanksgiving, all the way through Christmas, and, we made it happen.
Yep.
So, and it's just like what you were talking about. If you put your mind to it, you can make it happen.
Yep.
So, it's definitely been awesome, and that's for anybody out there that that may be struggling right now, because I know the leads are they're drying up a little bit for sure.
Yeah. I've had a lot of calls. A lot of people are.
I bet.
Yeah.
Because especially with coaching, you probably
Yep.
see it all over the.
Yeah, you can see it all over. And some areas are doing really well right now, and some are doing really bad, right?
Yep,
And
yep.
all in between. And so, yeah, I mean, you just gotta stick through it, right? And like, if you're in that right now, it's like, just do the hard things. Do things that nobody else would do. Go and knock on doors. Don't sit at home and be like,
waiting for somebody to come to you.
Yeah, you can't wait.
Where can I throw money so I don't have to go? And,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I'm always thinking, if for some reason, thankfully, I have not been slow really at all this year. Thankfully, January was a freaking hit. I couldn't believe that.
It's been a very interesting year.
It's been a weird, yeah. But I'm always thinking, okay, if I'm not doing anything today, how can I be productive?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being lazy and chilling, and I usually take the weekends and I say, okay, this is for my wife and my kids. I'm gonna try to put work aside and not think about work or any of that for the weekends. But if it's a Wednesday and I don't have any work for that Wednesday, I'm gonna try to find some work. If I got to go walk in somewhere and say, hey, can I wash your sidewalk, or if it's $150, it's more than I had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the way I look at it. But and that's another connection that you got. You never know. They may call you back to do the rest of the building.
That's right.
That's kind of it goes back to the Chris Sweet. I know you know Chris,
Mm-hmm.
great friend of mine. It kind of goes back to that. I showed up to wash one of his trucks for free, and now I got the whole fleet. So
That's how you do it.
Yeah.
You kind of like put yourself out there, and then somebody's like, hey, I can bless you. Just like you were saying, you get to a certain level and you're like looking for those people that are hungry.
Yep. That was a big gem you just dropped that a lot of people won't do. You just said you're going to do that work for free.
Which is like ultimate humility.
That's how I got started.
Yeah.
You do the free sidewalk, the free sign, right? And then, like you said, everybody lives in or works in a dirty building.
Yep.
So get out there. Like, if you got no work on, go do some free stuff.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
it's no different than putting your name out there. I mean, as far as marketing, you're still. I mean, you're still using your time. You're using a little bit of money, a little bit of overhead to go out there and do a little something for free. It's just a different form of marketing.
Plus, it's like you got to think of like opportunity cost.
Right.
It's like,
yeah.
if I only spent $1,000 on marketing, but I didn't bring any jobs in, versus some feet on the street 10 hours a day and I brought in 10 grand.
Yeah.
It's like you're making more money.
And
doing
it's
that.
like I used to tell my guys in the car business: activity breeds activity. So if you're out there working, you're getting noticed, you're getting seen. And
It's like what you say. You say Goya.
That's right. Go yeah.
Yep. Got to get off your ass.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't want to do that nowadays.
Yeah.
It's-
The
it's-
internet has convinced people they can make easy money.
Oh gosh, YouTube University.
Yeah. It's
I
like,
know.
You can become a doctor on YouTube though.
at least pretend.
That's right.
But yeah, it's because I like live in that digital marketing world, but like the truth is like that just connects me with people where I make relationships, like feet on the street, and then that stems to more work. It isn't,
Right.
oh, I just put my stuff on Facebook all day long.
It's kind of like us. I mean, we
Yes.
connected over a surface cleaner
Yeah, you
2
helped me
years
out.
ago, and hell, nobody knew who the heck I was then. A lot of people still don't.
I
but
stalked you because you started getting into that Greenville Young Professionals page that I was running into, and I was like, oh, somebody else is getting referred.
Yeah.
And then so we connected on that,
blowing up those Facebook groups.
and then we were texting, and I was like, I got a surface cleaner that blew up, and like I was getting one from North Georgia Airless, which was like a day or so.
Yep.
And you just like, hey, I'll meet you at Cherrydale Home Depot.
and we stayed up to about midnight in Home Depot just talking about business.
Damn, that's
And
awesome.
here we are today doing a
Yeah.
podcast together. We talk daily. We talk about business. We talk about anything, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like best pals.
Yeah, it's like, and that's to me, that's what's cool about business, just connecting with like-minded people.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I'm gonna chat about sports teams. It's like, hey, this is like our active arena that we're all in,
Yeah.
and it's just like, hey, we all have skin in the game.
Yep.
And
Well, I
like,
think it's important too. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because like as a business owner, like a lot of our friends, you know what I mean, don't know business. Like
It's
we
true.
talk about sports, but
Yep.
you start talking about business, and they're like,
No, what are you talking about?
yeah, no, that's not me, right?
I don't have many friends that don't have businesses.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm kind
good,
of
yeah.
like segmented.
It's a good circle.
I'm
That's
over here
good,
like,
yeah.
it's like it's almost like iron sharpens iron. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, it is.
And I think that, and I kind of heard it in you a little bit when you were talking earlier. A lot of people don't realize, like, starting a business, they think that the equipment and everything else is what's going to get you work. But at the end of the day, 90% of it, like we say, is business, and the 10% is probably washing. Washing's the easy part. The business is the hard part.
That's exactly right.
it is funny. You see all the guys that buy those huge rigs because
Yeah.
like selling rigs right now is like a new business model.
Yeah.
And he has an 8-gallon a minute machine that I sold him for like a G just to
Yeah.
get rid of it because it was like old.
He was
Yeah.
like, well, he was also tired of seeing me.
And I was tired of
wash
seeing
with
you
a
with the
4
4.
gallon a minute with
Oh,
all the
yeah.
work that I was doing.
I was like, you're
with a
too
4.
busy for this, so I'm gonna get a
Nice.
new machines to retrofit the skid. So I was like, it's
I got
almost
his
like,
hand-me-down.
here's a gift.
Hey, I'll take an 8-gallon hand me down any day.
know,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And and that is actually, we're doing 3, 4, sometimes 5 stops a day, and it's just me. So I mean, we're
You're pushing it.
I'm
Yeah.
killing it. I mean, like I say, I feel it.
I was
but,
doing that with the helper last year.
Yeah. So my biggest thing and my mindset, everybody has different mindsets and goals, right? Well,
Mhm.
my thing is, I'm only 28 years old, so I still got it in me. I don't mind working and working my butt off and humbling myself instead of growing too fast. I want to be patient. I feel like when the time's right, the time will come,
Yeah.
And me and Matt talk about it a lot. If there comes a day that I have to lean on him a little bit, he don't mind helping. And that's kind of our friendship. We did that big building, that 40,000 square foot building. We
Oh, yeah,
knocked that
11.
sucker out in a day, man. The
That's
offices of
awesome.
11.
Yeah.
We had a good helper with us, and man, he was a tank, man.
Yeah.
He knocked out the whole property with curbs himself.
Yeah.
Never stopped, never complained, none of that.
Yeah. That's too what's cool about like you're able to provide somebody with an opportunity where they're like grateful to do that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, hey, that's at the end of the day, we huddle together. It's just like, here's your piece, and I'm coming home with the remainder.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, you're able to provide for like 3 people off of one job that normally it would just be you yourself doing.
Yeah.
Try not to be greedy,
Yep.
But I mean, I think too, the mindset of like, if you're being greedy, you're just going to like prevent yourself from getting future opportunities, as opposed to almost like if you're like you're saying like Christian, you're like tithing into it. You're like, hey,
Right.
I'm doing this not for the money itself. The money's the byproduct of just serving.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you're not chasing money at that point.
That's right.
Now that you brought
Opportunities open up.
Now that you brought that up, I mean, like even in restaurants and stuff like that. I mean, if me and my wife go out and we have, we were at Waffle House the other day, and I think our bill was like $22. Well,
Mhm.
I just totaled it out to $50 just to help that person out. Always trying to give back.
Yeah.
Always trying to give back. And the more that I do that, the more I feel like the better is coming to me.
It's
Yeah.
true.
I don't know. It's just something that I feel. I'm like, okay, I feel like it's just gonna make somebody's day. I mean, I've literally sat in the parking lot, and my wife's been with me at times, and I'll just wait to see what their reaction's like. See if
cool.
okay, I wonder if I made their day. That's just always trying to give back, because $20, it's I can piss away $20 in a matter of seconds, but $20. It could be somebody's water bill. They may not have it. They may be in the negatives in their bank account that day. I mean, $20 will go a long way to some people.
Plus, it's like a good moment for somebody where they're like, somebody who doesn't know me cares about me, and then they like pass it forward.
Right.
So-
And then those are the people that take care of you too. My wife's always like, what? How do you know them? Like, how are they already got your freaking
Yeah.
your beer? They already know what you drink. And I was like, I just take care of my people. Like, you
Yeah.
take care of them, they're gonna take care of you.
It does. It comes back.
Fully agree.
Comes back
There's
around.
been times where I've like helped out, and then I get my phone. I got like 3 or 4 requests, and it's just like, put me down, no question about price.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's all connected.
It really is.
They're gonna tell you never know. You're always being watched, like we was talking about earlier. Whatever shirt you're wearing, they're gonna notice what you're doing and how you're doing it. And if you do something nice for them, they're gonna remember you for sure.
Oh yeah.
So
That reminds me too. Like your why will change. So like my why was always to do $1 million, right?
Mhm.
And then when you do
Want to
it,
be a millionaire.
yeah, like it, and it is, right? It's like
Yeah.
I wanted to break that $1 million mark. And so, and when you do it, there's no real difference,
Right.
right? Like it doesn't. And then your focus shifts. And so like mine was more impact over income, right?
Yep.
We've heard that a lot.
Yep.
And so throughout the whole journey was like, I remember there was a lady, I was washing a house in a neighborhood and she came up, she's like, can you give us a quote on my son's house? I had no idea what was going on. She's like, I'm like, yeah, the whole thing. She's like, no, just the, one side, right? The green side. I'm like, I'm right here. I'm just going to go do it for free. So I did it for free
Yep.
on my lunch break or whatever. Came back and I was doing a couple houses and she came back. I had no idea. So like getting the stories, knowing what it is. And she's like, my son's like in the hospital. He's got like, I forget what was going on exactly, but she was like, thank you so much. Like it meant the world to her.
Yep.
It didn't take me but like 20 minutes,
And
right?
it makes your day too.
And it does.
Yeah.
And it always comes back like you guys are saying.
Yep.
I think that's huge. Like we have the opportunity to do that. That's pretty cool. You know?
Yeah, it's just pressure washers.
That's right.
I know,
Yeah.
something so simple.
That's right.
So everybody wants the sexy recipe for success. I was like, you could get $1 million in your bank account today. It's not going to really make you any happier.
Nope, it won't.
You'll probably just spend it.
Thanks. Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm still not satisfied.
Yeah. Especially this day and age, $1 million doesn't go very
Yeah, it's
far.
like-
You know?
It's like my bleach bill.
20
That's
years
right.
ago. Yeah.
Exactly.
The bleach bill. But I think that pretty much wraps it up, guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, Pat, I appreciate you coming, man. We really appreciate it.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
But if you guys want to see anybody else on here or you'd like to be a guest on our show, be sure to message us directly. You can comment below if you want to request somebody. We'll be on YouTube, Apple,
Yeah.
Spotify, all the platforms. I'm sure you'll see a lot of reels off of this as well. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Yep. You got anything you want to say? Plug?
Just Goya.
Goya.
baby.
There you go. See you guys.